Hi guys, I thought I'd show you today how I will watercolour using distress reinkers. You can use watercolouring pads, paint pads, very similar, but I find that I like the distress reinkers because you can get more depth of colour. But like I said, that's entirely up to you. So today I'm going to show you colouring this gorgeous image, which is by Julia McNeil Designs and is butterfly style. I love these butterflies as well, but today we'll just concentrate on the face. So I use water with quite a fine paintbrush. Again, that's up to you. Some people prefer thicker ones, and it was actually stamped in VersaFine Clay Nocturne because these will take the water. The distress reinkers come like this with a pipette type applicator, and then I put them into the individual wells and take it from there. As you can see, a little bit messy on mine because it's well used. And I think I better turn the sound off on my phone. Right, so the only thing I've forgotten is some kitchen paper, which just helps to absorb the excess water. Hopefully you can see me okay on the brightness. It is quite a while since I've made a video, so I'm hoping that it doesn't go too bad. Right, so I'm starting off with a fairly pale colour, which is Tea Rose, I think it's called. Tattered Rose. Should really have organised this better, shouldn't I? Seeing as I can't remember what it's called. I will list it below though, just in case I've got that wrong. And basically I just go along the edge, blending it in as I go. The watercolour paper I use is smooth. That is the one that I prefer, but that again is entirely up to you. So go along where there's shadow. I must admit I don't normally colour on a desk neither. I have a lap tray on my knee and I do it on there. So we shall see how this goes on. But basically the idea is exactly the same. And you just go down, blending it. It's quite a bit as far as you can go. Now if I go over the top again with something else now, because that's not quite dry, it'll just finish up going everywhere. So leave that now to dry. You could use a heat tool as well, but it's easier just to go to another place. So using exactly the same ideas, basically where the shadow is. I will be going over with darker colours where the shadow is, but this just gives a base layer and gives you an idea where things are. find if I want to go further down from somewhere and it not be as strong, hopefully you can see that there's quite a bit there that's just mingled with quite a bit of already water as against it being too solid a colour. And if you just go down one side, where again you're wanting your shade to be, and blending it out, you'll get that colour on without it being too strong. Probably can't see that very good on this light, but it is there. So you can, of course, also blot it with a bit of dry, clean kitchen towel. Make sure it's dry, because if it's got a blot of colour on, you're going to put a blot of colour where you don't want it to be. That's not really what you want. Now this is also a part in shadow, because she's got hair that's over her face. You can have it that the shadow is central, if the sun was to be above her. If the sun's to the left, the shadow would be to this side, and if the sun was to the right, the shadow would be on this side. But again, I'm only going to do it there because that's just where she's got a hairline, or a mock hairline. So on mine, she's going to have shadow on this side, and then this bit is going to be more clearer, not as shadowy. Right, the one that I did, so hopefully now this bit that I did first should be fairly dry. So I'm going to go in now with a little tiny bit of tea dye and just put that more on the edge. And again, if you get a drip like that, just blot it away with your tissue. It's very forgiving, really. There'll be some people probably who watch this and think, that's not the way I do it. We all have our own ways. I'm just showing you how I do it. I used to colour quite a bit a few years ago when I was crafting with different images. So I'm a bit out of practice, to be honest. Sometimes I also like my Copic alcohol markers, which they are done in a completely different way. Well, I do them in a different way. The queen of that, of course, is Julia. She's brilliant at colouring with Copics. But again, we have our own styles, we have our own ideas. Never be put off if it doesn't, the way you do it or the way that you get a look doesn't quite match somebody else's. That makes it unique to you, and don't worry about it. We all start somewhere. So again, I'm just going on where the shadow would be. Because as we all know, your head protrudes in front of your chin, so you tend to get a bit of shadow. There. Like I say, I use a smooth watercolour paper. I personally find that that is better for me. You might like a textured one. So this usually the smooth are hot pressed, what they call hot pressed, and that's what makes the paper smooth. And that is my personal preference. But like I say, you can try with others. You may prefer cold. So I think, yes, you can see that now. There's a bit of shadow. She's definitely got more shadow here. It's just the way it's happened. But that's good because that would be where the shadow would be with the butterfly on her face. But there is a little bit of shadow up there as well. That, fair enough, my camera's not picking up quite as much, but it is there. Now then, for the rest here, I don't want to leave it that it's got nothing on. So I'm going to take some antique linen and I'm just going to bring it in very, very, very lightly. Going nearly to the other side where you've been. By the time you get to the other side, there won't be much on your paintbrush. You want this quite watery. And go in circular motions because that helps to get rid of any harsh lines, because you don't want a harsh line on the middle of the face either. Turn your paper or your cardstock if it helps. And blend in. I'm also going to do a bit on the other side of the neck. Just so that it's not just the water, not the water, the card. Distress inks are like watercolour, they're very forgiving. So if you go back over, if there's anything that's not quite dried, it will move a little bit. But you can also go over with another layer if you need to do as well. Right. Let me see, what will I do next? Oh, I think we'll give her a little bit of eyeshadow. Know what colour? I think I'm going to do the butterfly blues and greens. Some of my favourite colours in my distress inks, I must admit. So I think I shall probably do the eyeshadow a little bit similar. So which one shall I use? I think this one's called Shabby Shutters. So just a little tiny bit on your brush, and again blend it out up to her eyebrow. That's quite subtle. I quite like that. Probably doesn't look much on the camera. In real life it's quite nice, and again it depends on what look you want. I will go over a little bit more though, right on the edge, just so you can probably see it better. The weather's not good here today, it's pouring down and it's gone quite cool as well. Not at all like it was the other day where it was that hot we couldn't sit out. Now looking at it now, I'm not overly keen on this bit. It looks like there's something missing. So I'm going to go back here also to the antique linen and just blend a bit down to the eyebrow at the top. That then brings it in also to match this bit and the little bit there. Now for her lips we have, what do we have? We have spun sugar. So we'll do that. Got nice pale lips there. When it's dry, we'll go over with a darker shade in the corners and leaving the centre a little bit paler so that it gives more of a shape. Husband just walked in then. Don't think he wants to be on the video. Doesn't know that I'm doing the video today. But I was just in the mood for doing it, so it's actually his birthday today as well, bless him, and the weather, like I said, is awful. Right, so now we've done that, and I think we'll start on the butterfly. Give the face a chance to calm down and dry. So I'm going to go with Broken China. As you can see, I'm blending it out as I go. So it's a lot darker where we started. While it's still quite damp, you can blend it out. But it's only just there at the end. There's different ways of colouring this. You could have green on the end of the wings to bring the green in that you've put in on her eye, or you could put it on the body. I will admit I've not quite decided what I'm doing yet, so watch this space. It can be quite therapeutic, just colouring. You just lose yourself in it if you don't worry about it too much and just let it go. As you can see, that one there has finished up a bit darker. I'll probably go back to that and take some of that away. But for now, I'll just leave it for now. Again, because I didn't want it too dark on the ends, but I'd sort of run out of the ink, I'm going where it's not as deep. More water's in there because I've kept putting my brush in. Think you can pick that up? Now this one's gone a bit deeper, so I'm going to try and get rid of some of that. So get your brush quite damp and blocked. You won't get rid of it all, but you'll definitely get rid of some. Might even go back to that and try again later. Like I say, go to where it's a bit more watery. Not right on the end. And then you've got a much paler version of it. If the space you've got to spread the ink is only tiny, naturally enough it's going to spread more than if you've got a larger place. I'll just put that on the edge there and bring it down. Right, we'll allow that to dry now. Now I'll tell you what, I'll just see if I can get this some more of this. Don't want my paintbrush too wet. I don't want it going on the other ones as well. Right, it seems to be wanting to stick, so rather than make the other look silly next to it, I'll put some water down on this one. And then it makes it look like it's measuring that one as well, matching that one. So that's the other thing you can do as well. Try and take some away or add more. Right, I'm going to go back to her lips. So I put spun sugar on before, so now I'm going to go in with a darker shade of pink, which is Victorian Velvet. Just a little tiny bit at the edges. Blend it with an almost wet, dryish, but just water on your brush. Little dabbing motions, and then with a quite wet, just a wet brush, no colour on it, mix it in, and you get the shadow and the light in the middle of your lips. Now I decided here she would have a nice rosy cheek, so again I think I'm going to go in with this. Do I want this? No, I think I might go with the Tattered Rose, because I think the other's too dark. And it doesn't help because my Tattered Rose is drying up. I've used it a bit much. Go round the outer layer so that you're spreading it round and you don't have an hard edge. And go as far as you want. Hopefully you can see that. Like I say, I like my images to be quite soft. You might like yours to be a lot more coloured. So, really the only thing that's left now is the body of the butterfly. So to be honest, I'm not quite sure what colour this is. It's green. Might be pale paint. And that's the body. Now we could leave it like that. We can do it that the green comes into the blue, or I might be not happy with this, but I'm going to put some of the green over the blue, because it's all trial and error, and see what happens. Sometimes it makes a completely different colour, which can be very interesting because it might not be what you expect it to do. Just have a play. Don't be afraid. It's a piece of card. If it goes wrong, sometimes you can go over it and sort it. If not, it's a piece of card. Goes in the bin. Definitely not worth losing sleep over. Like I say, this is just the way that I do it. Some people might think, oh, I don't do it like that. Gives a bit of depth to the butterfly that's near the body as well. Bit of character. Now I've decided that because of that I don't like the colour of the body on the main body, so I'm going to go over now with the same green that one was, which will look a paler colour because it's green over green instead of green over blue. So it will only look green, but it's definitely darker, as you can see. So that's just the basics. Some people could put colour under a nose. Personally, I don't like doing that because sometimes I make a right mess, so I'm not going to do that. But hopefully you've got an idea of what you can do. So bye for now. Thanks for watching.